The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast.
Is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. Hosted by three BFFs, Daddy Diwali, Chipotle Bear, and Bubble Boy and Seven.
And new intern, X Bacon Gamin'.
This is Cortana. And remember, don't make a girl a promise if you know you can't keep it. As always, Spartans, see you online.
Oh, hello. Daddy Diwali here, and welcome to The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. This week, we are coming to you with a bonus episode to discuss the controversial, not in my eyes, ending of The Last of Us, the video game and the TV series. It is going to get hot up in here, Jose. So be ready for some serious arguing on the Twitter streets. Joining me, as always, is the new official co-host of the Nerd Chat, Chipotle Bear. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Happy to be here on this very beautiful Tuesday afternoon in Colorado. But
Yeah,
gotta
one
admit
nice day
that
of weather.
I'm excited to talk about this episode because I was way wrong for what
Yeah.
happened. But also, I know there's been a lot of controversy, and as someone who hasn't played the games but will be playing them, very excited to get into it. So thanks for having me, man.
And joining us as always is the assistant to the co-host. Oh, wait, the intern to the assistant to the co-host. X Bacon Gaming. Welcome to the show.
I got promoted. That's nice. That's nice.
No,
Went
it's a mistake.
to the driving range this evening. It was like 60 degrees, like 5 o'clock. Went and hit a large bucket of balls. Things are looking good. Let's talk Last of Us.
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna get this one nice day that's gonna go back down to 30s. Great.
Right.
I will say, as much as the time change in general sucks and we need to get rid of it, it is nice to have daylight past 4:30. Having spring forward, but we need to ban it. I don't know why we deal with it, so let's get on that, gentlemen. The Last of Us. It is over. And I've got a lot to say. I've had a lot to say for 10 years now, and I'm glad I finally have the opportunity to discuss it with two other people who just one person who just recently finished the first game, X Bacon Gaming, and watched the show, and Chipotle Bear, who has never played the games and just went straight through the show. We sent out an invite. Hopefully, Corey or a Bubble Boy or somebody will come in here in the chat. I sent an invite for others to join us, but they could not make it. But regardless, I have so many questions for you guys, and here we go. I'm going to start it with this. Let's jump right into it, and this is how I'm going to set up our whole conversation on the series, but specifically that ending. Here we go. Neil Druckmann said it before and said it again recently on the Behind the Episode, which always happens after the shows, and in the podcast, which I highly recommend listening to that last episode. The cure would have worked. Craig Mazin, the writer for the TV series, also for Chernobyl, also a big fan of the game, also said the cure would work. Ellie would have wanted to sacrifice to save the world. I am a parent now. When I beat the game back in 2013, I had no kids. I was living that beautiful single life, and I was just gaming nonstop. Back then, I thought it was heinous what Joel chose to do at the end of the game. Now, I have 3 children and a wife and a beautiful family, and I still hate Joel and forever think he is selfish and kills humanity. Genocide here, boys. Ellie is not Joel's biological daughter. He has been with her for less than 1 year. Half of it was just surviving to get paid, and he almost bailed on Ellie. Okay, keep all of this in mind. I'll let you speak here in a second. Having said that, let's say I was in the position of Joel. If it was Grayson or Maddie or Brooklyn, would I do the same? And this is where it gets tough, I have to admit. This is where I would have more empathy for Joel if It was his daughter, Sarah. Okay. If it was a 14-year-old Grayson, Maddie, or Brookie, I think I would have the discussion with them and maybe, I don't know, give them a choice like Bacon argues that Ellie should have had the choice. And to be fair, it's never explained whether or not, or never shown on screen on the game or on the TV show if she was given that choice.
That's not
Okay.
true.
Uh, 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 just let me finish. If
All right.
that's not true, you can correct me in a second. I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember seeing it either way. Also, keep in mind that it is not a guarantee that Ellie would survive and have a good life even if Joel takes her. She could die the next day. She could be eaten by a clicker. It would then all be for nothing. Okay.
Dang.
Joel then lies to Ellie, and Ellie knows it. She was ready to sacrifice. She accepts his lie, and Druckmann and Mason both say she is done with him at that point. She knows she is smarter than we give her credit for. What would I do if I was in the exact same situation? I'd like to think that I could sacrifice my child for the greater mankind, but I don't know. I don't know. The more I think about it, I I I don't know. Could I say no to saving mankind? Like that's the question. Um, or do I take that risk, keep my child alive, and risk him or her possibly dying, like I said, in a horrific clicker outbreak? Okay. So I think I would accept my son or daughter's purpose to save the world and just see them again in heaven or something like that. But to close my argument here, is Joel the bad guy? Yes. To me, he absolutely is. And now I will open it up to you guys with all of those thoughts. Specifically, I already know Bacon's, and Bacon, you're going to be able to talk here in a second, but I want to go directly to Jose because he has not seen, he did not know this ending. He did not know what happened. He also has kids. Jose, I know I gave you a lot. You don't have to answer any of those questions, but start off how you would like. I'm assuming I'd just like to hear your general thoughts on the ending to The Last of Us Part 1.
So just a quick heads up, and I put this in my Twitter post, but also if you're just joining us, we are about to spoil a lot about this show and game. So just
Oh,
a
I
heads up.
already did. Yeah. If you're
If you
already
don't
here,
want if you
sorry.
don't want to see spoilers, please watch our other show and come back once you see the
And I
show.
also
But
said Spoilercast in my tweet too. So
yeah,
spoiler is in the word in
yeah,
the title.
absolutely. But so for those that didn't know, when Bacon and Dan asked me what I thought was going to happen, because I've never played the games. Um, I said that I thought Joel was gonna die. I thought Joel was going to I thought it was gonna be like a choice where like he does something to save her and he gets infected and she has to kill him. Like I thought that was gonna be the ending of the game. I thought that was a very worthwhile ending to the game and very like I knew she was in the sequel. Like I knew that even without ever playing the games, but I didn't know he was in the sequel. And so I just assumed that's how this thing would go. But to your question of whether so I'm also a dad and also a very pragmatic guy, like I just am by nature. And I'll be honest with you, if it was my daughters, I would be like Joel, like straight up. I will be straight up with you. I could not do it even for the goodness of mankind. I could not do that to my own child. If it was just someone I met, I would absolutely do that for the betterment of mankind. And I feel bad saying that. Like I'm not just a negative person. I literally work in a school. I love children. Um, but it's just hard for me not to weigh the good of humanity. Now, the one thing I will say, and then I want to hear from Bacon right away, and we can keep going around with it, is we didn't have proof that it would work from the doctor. That's the
Nope.
hard part for me. Is that hang on,
But
let me
in
finish. You
this
got to
world,
finish. Let me
they
finish. Hang on.
both wrote that it would work. They're saying it would work. I don't like these hypotheticals. We don't know. Oh, there's a lot of variables. No, the writers themselves are saying this would work. We can't say, well, maybe it's going to work, or no, I don't know. These doctors.
So I still stand by my thing. I would totally be able to do it if it wasn't mine. Um, but here's the other part is that Ellie did accept it. Like and to be fair, she could have lied, but what's her face? The one who started with Ellie, the friend of the mom. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Marlene.
Marlene, thank you. Marlene said that to Joel when he woke up in the hospital. She said she's being prepped right now. We
Mhm.
had a discussion with her. She's in agreement. She
She
had
did
no
say that?
fear. She did say it in the
I need to go
episode.
back and watch that then,
Yeah,
okay.
she said, like, she knows what she's doing. She's fully content with it.
Or is Marlene lying to him?
Well, that's the question. Is Marlene
We don't
lying
know,
to Joel
either way.
to get it? And again, we're in the hypotheticals pretty quickly there again. But assuming that she wasn't a liar, because I did tend to like Marlene through the story, right? Obviously, she saved Ellie. Um, I assume that's true, and that is where, as hard as that decision is, it's like, look, she's prepared for it. She did all of this. Even earlier in the episode, Ellie told Joel, I when he said we could just leave. We could go to Wyoming, we could live out our life, and, like, it's not your problem. You deserve a life to live. She said, I can't have this all be for nothing. That was her desire. And so at that point, I do think Joel was selfish, but I also understand him. I wouldn't call him the villain. I think that's a stretch where Dan's over there in villain land. I don't think he's the villain. I think there are much way worse people. Like the preacher was way worse than Joel by far, right? But I do agree that I
Maybe he's not the villain right away, but at the end,
no,
we're
he's
we're
not the
we're
villain.
not
I don't think
we're
he's
not
the villain.
talking Walter White villain, right? Walter White progressively gets worse and worse and worse. Okay. Joel seems to be getting better with Ellie, but then with this one moment where he just can't accept losing his second fake daughter. I'm saying it. It's not his real daughter.
Dude, it
I
can
don't
be
care
his
what
real
they've been
daughter.
through in 6 months.
Is
Sorry.
your adopted daughter your real
That's
That's
daughter?
what
not
I'm
the
saying,
same, but
bud.
that
Come
but
on.
guys, this isn't his adopted daughter. He didn't do that. He
It's
didn't
not on
spend, like,
paper,
a
but it is de
lifetime.
facto his adopted daughter. Dude, at the point where you
Ah,
traveled across country and saved her life multiple times
and she
and
saved
And she saved
his,
his.
and she
Yep.
saved his, like, that's your
but
daughter, bud.
overall, Jose, how did you handle the ending, though? Like, were you with Joel? Were you like,
I
yeah,
think I honestly don't have a good answer there. I mean, I think I was because again, I was waiting for him to die, man. I got to tell you, like I was just waiting for that the whole time. But I will say, in the end, I was very content
were
with
you
the ending
mad with him?
in that it was a good ending. I think I was mad at him though. I think that's fair to say. I think I was like, dude, I hear you and I
Mhm.
understand why you love her and I get
Yes,
it
I
again as
agree.
a dad, but like, dude, like you're talking about the rest of the world. You know what I'm saying? And like that's just very hard for me to that's hard for me to turn away from. Now again, I'm not Joel. I'm not good
Yeah,
at killing things, including like small bugs and stuff like that. So this is not really in my true realm, but it is definitely a hard choice. Now I've talked a lot. I want to hear from Bacon Bake.
all
What do you
right.
think, bud?
Bacon, let's hear why you are the opposite, I would say, from us, and go ahead.
So, is Joel a villain? Is the question. Joel is not a villain for wanting to protect Ellie. Joel is a villain for killing 50 dudes
And all of
going
mankind, but go
full
ahead.
commando. All of mankind is not dead. So when you think about in this world, the pandemic, we are just coming out of how hard it was for us to make a cure, mass produce the cure, send it out to everybody so everyone can get the poke. In the world that is destroyed and in rubble, as in The Last of Us, how hard would that have been for us to get a shot to every surviving
But if
person
you
on
had
this
the
He's
earth?
absolutely
opportunity,
right.
would you rather take it than not?
No. Okay, my whole theory behind this is none of this is Ellie's fault, right? Ellie didn't do anything wrong. Ellie is just the cure, or what we assume to be the cure. So, why is it that Ellie has to sacrifice her life for a theoretical hope of mass producing something out of her brain whatever it was, hormone or whatever? Um, that's not fair to her. Now, again, if they would have offered her, hey, you can maybe save the whole world or you could live, I'm pretty sure she would say, my life kind of sucks. I will save the world. But I do not believe, and in the game, I do not believe she was given that choice. And that's why Joel had his reaction he did when he got up out of the bed and it's like, I need to see her. And then they hit him and they wouldn't even let him see her again. I mean, I think both parties were wrong in this situation.
I
Big
do
time.
have to I have to say though, I don't know if there was a lot of hope for the Fireflies. Because I'm not saying Joel is not a BA, because he is, but for him to take out like the entire battalion with
Yeah, I
like
thought that was
nothing, I was
insane.
like, dude, you
I
need
thought
some better enforcers
I
a
have to
little
say,
bit
yeah,
for the record.
as fun as that was in the game, like, as I was watching, I'm like, "Dude, this one guy's taking out, like, 30 of these fireflies who are
With
all armed
ARs and
with
stuff
ra"
like
I'm
that.
like, "Come on, not one of them could sneak up or flank him and get a shot and take him out." I was like, "That's where it got a little too actiony," but that's
You know what?
besides the
Maybe they're
point.
all stormtroopers in the future. You don't know.
Yeah,
They
they're
just
they
miss.
they really are. They just suck and they miss. Here's the other point I wanted to make, though. I like so in the game, Jose, you don't see that opening segment with,
No.
Ashley Johnson giving birth
Oh yeah,
and
I assume so. Yeah.
the cutting the umbilical cord, and that's how where we see that this is why Ellie is immune. She happened to have a little bit whatever passed on to her, but cut it off as she was after she gave birth, and so that was new, but it provided a lot of excellent context with the relationship with Marlene and the mom at the point, the relationship with Marlene and Ellie and having basically kept an eye on her all of these years. And so that's why I think it's even worse when Joel kills Marlene in that parking garage in that moment because Marlene is literally the only person in the world who can understand what Joel is feeling, potentially losing out on Ellie. And he
Fair.
kills Marlene in cold blood.
Oh, straight up, bud.
Like,
Like
straight
like
up,
cold, bud.
okay? Yeah, and knows, like, even if she survives this gunshot wound to her gut, I can't risk that. I need to make sure it is done because she will forever come back. There was an established relationship between Marlene and Ellie's mom. We don't see that in the video game, but we do get to see that in the show, which I thought was cool. And I heard when I was listening to the podcast, I don't know if you guys got a chance to listen to it. Neil Druckmann was saying they had this idea about the origin of Ellie and how she became immune and this mom stuff. So that was supposed to be shown like in a separate game or a separate
Like
series.
a
He was
DLC or
saying how
something.
like yeah, like that was going to be like canon to the story. So um I I I don't know. To me, you guys, if it was my kid, yes, this would absolutely be I would feel completely different. But okay, bacon is gone.
He turned off his camera for a sec. He'll be
Okay.
back.
Um, I I don't know, Jose. It just seems to me like everything Joel does at the end just is so incredibly selfish. So, overall, though, as the show as a whole, what did you like most? And did this sour your experience with the show? Like for me, when I played the game, I was really enjoying it, and then that moment when you get to the surgery room, I didn't. I was like, I just stood there, and that's what a lot of people did. They were like, I don't want to kill this doctor. I want to save the world, but you are forced to kill that doctor.
Mm.
Like, no matter what, you can just stand there as much as you want, but you have to kill the doctor. And that's something at that point I was like, screw this game. I hate this. I hate how selfish Joel is. I can't stand it. And that really made me dislike the game at that point just because of the ending. So overall, are you still feeling high about this and you want to play the game and you still have a positive
Yes,
view on it?
100% yes to all those questions. So let's talk about things I like, things that I didn't love. So things I
Lack of
loved.
clickers.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm always I'm Bacon just reported in his internet's not doing great. He'll be back with us as soon as he
Oh
can.
no.
Uh I love the show. Straight up.
Bacon,
Like
connect to your phone as a hotspot.
I don't think he's listening anymore, but he has no internet.
I mean, he's got his phone.
Is I really, really I love the show for a couple of reasons. One is very well produced, obviously, like not huge compliments to the crew, the cast, Druckmann, all of you guys, absolutely amazing, right? Like truly, truly. We've talked for literally years now on this show about how like most of the time when you talk about any kind of a movie or show around video games, it's laughable, right? Even
Yeah,
personally,
mediocre.
totally just because I need something on in the background as I've been working the last couple of nights. I've been watching Mortal Kombat Legacy,
Mortal Kombat.
which is not the movies, not even the old movies. It was a show that was produced 2 seasons about the origins of the characters, and I it's enjoyable from the perspective of, like, funny, but it is not great. Anyway, huge shout out to them. I also loved about the show that it brought so much of this to the mainstream, and I mean on the big scale too. Like I love that a lot of people are into the show and seeing that video games can be this really transformative platform for storytelling. But I also truly love, truly that my wife loved it, right? Because my wife tolerates my video game habit, and she's cool with it. She really is. But she doesn't get into it the same way I do, and the
Yeah.
same way we get into like Halloween together and stuff. So the fact that she was into the show and her friends are into the show, her coworkers are into the show, and they talk about it. And then when she like I get to tell her spoilers and really cool like trivia about the gaming piece, and then she can carry that on. That's a pride point for me. So like I got to tell
What
her
what
that
did
Ash
she what did she think of the ending?
she so funny story.
Oh,
On
I gotta
Sun
read you Askins too, so thanks for reminding me. Go ahead.
Sunday night when we were sitting down to watch it, we have a friend in town right now, a friend of ours, Claire. Claire's Victoria's friend from college. She's in from Ohio. She's a professor out
What?
there.
Oh, it's not the Color Square, different Claire.
Dr. B, not Claire to Square. That's a different Claire. We were sitting down to watch it. We put the girls down, right? It was like we were all tired, but like, all right, let's grab a beer. We're gonna watch it together. We're all pumped. Victoria stepped on a pin in the carpet on it, like that one of the girls left out, like a
Mhm.
literally a pin. It went into her foot. She was not happy. And she was like, please just start the show. And literally the show opens with that scene with the childbirth. And literally all of us were dead silent. Like it almost didn't have the words, right? But also appreciated how it connected to the story, like, how it did everything for explaining what Ellie was doing. And so I have to give it to them for the storytelling, right? I think I wasn't sure. I'll be very honest. I wasn't sure about Bella Ramsey's casting at the beginning, but I
Mhm.
got to give it to her, man. She did truly a great job in every
Yeah, I would
aspect.
agree.
Huge props to her. Huge props to Pedro Pascal and every other actor that was
Yeah.
involved. I think this was just a home run as far as the game series goes in terms of the story. Now, to your question of did I like the story and did it ruin it for me? It didn't ruin it for me. I'm still very excited to play the games. I know both you and Bacon really like loved them, and so I definitely want to um, honor that love and play it by myself. But at the same time, like I'm not. It doesn't sour anything for me. I thought it was great. I don't know where the story I thought was going. I mean, I know I told you I thought Joel was going to die, but that's always the problem I have with anything like this. Is like, what's the end game here? Because like I love apocalyptic games. I love apocalyptic movies, but even
Like The
things like
Walking Dead, what was the point of
yeah,
all that?
Walking Dead. Like,
Yeah.
what is the end goal here? Is it that we're going to back and create society? I think about that with like I Am Legend. Great movie. Loved I Am Legend, but you get to the end and it's like what are we trying to do here? And so I really appreciated about this show and story that it's like we're trying to save humanity and we have a legitimate way to do it.
You
And
had it right
and it's
there.
right there and you don't do it, man. I have to give them props for like breaking the mold and doing that. Um I want to hear from you though, man. Like I know you obviously play the games. Like how did you feel upon completing it? Like how did you feel like it was a solid story at the end there? Like tell me
Yeah,
what you think.
I thought it was a solid game. The one thing I have to say, and oh, he's back. Bacon is back. The one thing that I didn't like about the show with the click is that you really didn't see much combat or clickers. Like it was just that maybe that second episode where they did a good job in the museum with the clickers. Then the fifth episode, I think, with the sniper and the random bloater. But other than that, there's very little combat with the infected. And the game just does a better job of having that tension, having those moments in between with Ellie and Joel. You get a lot. I feel like these last few episodes, they really rushed Jose towards the end. You definitely see the relationship and bond building way more in the game because you have more time to have those little small conversations in between. They never showed Bacon how Ellie couldn't swim and Joel having to save her multiple times or carry her. They never showed like ladder sequences that were just absolutely heinous in the
Wooden
first game
pallets. Get
and
on the
moving
pallet.
stuff
I'm
and
gonna
moving
swim you.
dumpsters around, stuff like that to hide
Yeah.
boat times. But overall, no, I think it's a great adaptation. It's exactly, I mean, besides the Frank and what was it, Bill stuff. I mean, that was great episode, but had nothing that had nothing to do with the overall character building. Jose, I do think the show would have benefited with just a couple more episodes. Honestly, I really felt like they rushed it, but I think overall the last episode, as short as it was, and I was actually kind of surprised at the runtime. Like, you have some serious combat getting to the hospital as well, that they completely skip. But again, that's more video gamey. For as short as it was, I will have to say they did a really good job. Um, I have to say, uh, So closing back to what you asked originally, how did I feel while I played the game? I always thought that the combat was, it was Naughty Dog. It wasn't the shooting wasn't the best, but it was still fun to play, still fun to sneak. I was really into the story, Jose. I was actually like, man, this is really good. Is this going to pass Uncharted for me as my favorite Naughty Dog IP? And then the ending happened and it just made me so mad at Joel. I was like, how can I play as this guy for 15 to 20 hours and he seems to finally be making a turn and he makes such an just insanely selfish decision for somebody. Yes, I get it. There's a bond there and there's a relationship there, but in the end, to just say "F you" to mankind, we've got a cure. It really broke me, and at that point, I was like, "I have no desire to play the sequel, Jose," and I didn't. And I also had the sequel spoiled for me, and so but to be fair, now I do wanna play the sequel, but am I gonna play it right away? I don't know. Maybe I'll play it in preparation or down the road for The Last of Us Part 2 in the TV series, but go ahead, Jose.
But before I get to bacon, because I don't hear bacon stew, I have to contend though to my original point. I hear what you said about the writers, and I hear about Druckmann saying that like it would have
They're
worked.
saying it would have worked,
I hear
guys.
you,
To
but
say
but
we have to take them at their word. They
but
created this world.
Joel didn't know that it was going to work. All Joel knew
True.
was that he was going to probably, most likely, lose Ellie. So
Correct.
all I'm arguing, I'm not arguing, I'm not changing my mind. I'm not waffling. I'm simply making the argument. I don't think that makes him an automatic villain. Maybe poor choices, right? But I don't think it makes him a villain. Bacon, the question we've been talking about is how did you feel at the end of the game and at the end of the show? What did you think about the show as a whole? Tell us just kind of your general
And
thoughts about
and
everything.
quickly, Bacon, remember at the part with the doctor, I was telling Jose where I just stood there. I was like, I don't want to shoot this guy. I want him to take out whatever he needs to take from Ellie. And whereas some people, you see the flamethrower clips just killing everybody in this mass mayhem. So go ahead, Bacon. What was your thoughts? And also tell us what did Nell think of the conclusion? Well, she's probably the same way as you because you guys are
Well,
anyway,
her
go ahead.
her only seeing the show, of course, she she loved it, but I'd kind of clued her in on your feelings about how you feel about Joel, and she said she understood it, and she's probably in the chat still if she wants to chime in. Anyways, I felt more satisfied with how the game ended. Um, it felt because of the whole knowing when I arrived in Salt Lake City and like you said, fighting the clickers and getting in and doing all that. And I had a much harder time killing all the fireflies in the hospital than Joel did in the show. He just went full Rambo. Um, I was shocked at how fast the show ended. And it ended exactly the way they did it in the game, with the town in the backdrop, them standing up there and um them and they having their little speech and so that ended exactly. Now, do I think they could have gone into town, met Tommy, kind of settled in and showed just glimpses of her being a kid again, maybe sitting watching a movie, hanging out with other people, to really lay down the context that hey, and maybe Joel sitting in the back watching me, thinking I made the right decision, something he probably has to live with, and I know I've played through a certain part of the second one, so I know exactly what happens, and it's
Let's not spoil
yes,
part
I'm not
two,
going to spoil it because you
even though
still
I
need to
know
play it.
everything. Well,
Um,
I know
it's
generally
pretty good.
everything.
It's pretty well done. So I think they could have extended this last episode to at least make it 10 episodes. So I'm not sure if it was a budgetary thing or if HBO was afraid that it wasn't going to hit the way it was. Because they could have just done more at the end to
Yeah, in
you know
multiple parts.
just to show that you know Joel sitting there on a park bench watching Ellie hang out with kids and watch a movie or something like that, just to get you can see it. I mean, you know how they do it in filmmaking. He could be reflecting, saying, I made the right decision. So, but it's weird that I think I felt more satisfied with the ending in the game than the show, even though they're exactly the same, like beat for beat. That is exactly how they both end. So maybe it's just because it was more work to get there in the game. But I still think Joel made the right decision. So
So you played it. So Bacon, for context, playing the game before the show started. Stopped. Watched a majority of the show. Went back. Did finish the game though before the final episode. Um, and like you said, do you appreciate the game more or less now that you've after everything you've seen both? Is this one of your favorite Sony IPs? How about that?
Yes.
Okay.
God of War
More
20
than God of War.
God of War 2018 still number 1. This is number
Okay.
2, easily hands down, smoke Spider-Man. It
Spider-Man
is,
better.
um, it's really well
Actually,
done.
Uncharted better.
I'm not an Uncharted guy, I'm more of a Tomb Raider
Uh,
guy. But,
both great
it's
games.
it's still it was a phenomenal game. The reason why I never played it because I didn't feel I wanted to play a PS3 game, even though I'm playing a 360 game today as we're talking. So, uh, some of my decisions I make in my gaming life are questionable at best because
Missing out on Mass Effect.
I probably would have really enjoyed it. And I had a PS3 at the time. I don't know why I didn't play it. I don't know.
All right, we lost Bacon again. He's paying for that gig internet out there, but he is dropping out like crazy. Let's start to wrap this up, Jose. I'm just gonna say I beat the game, like I said, in 2013 on a PS3. I was there, guys. I was there from the beginning. I beat it again on the PS4 with the remastered edition. I'm like, maybe I'll catch something, like I missed. Maybe I'll appreciate it more. Still hated Joel, Jose. So that kind of goes back to your original question. And now, watching the show, I'm still like, gosh, you are so selfish. So, my closing thoughts is I would have more empathy for Joel if that was Sarah. If, like, let's say he had kept Sarah alive through everything, and then they find out she's immune, and then he's like, well, what are we going to do with her? Then, yeah, absolutely. I'd probably want to save my old child and say screw off to mankind. But again, in this instance, I just don't know when you see what you see, I know there's a relationship there, but it's relatively short. It's not his daughter. And both writers saying for the show and the video game, one of the main creators of the game, Neil Druckmann, saying, no, this would have provided the cure for humanity. I just don't see how you can just go on this rampage, killing everyone just because you want to save this second chance at having a daughter. And I'll say, oh, wait.
We got
Got it in the chat. We got Nell here. Nell wrote, it's like love versus logic. He loved Ellie like a daughter, and most parents always say they do anything to save their kids. But my logical brains feels like they should have saved the world. Thank you, Nell.
He's
Exactly.
absolutely right.
And that's I think what me and Jose are both saying. Like if it was his kid, it'd be different. But it is not his kid. And as much as he may feel love there, is it real love? And Jose, you didn't really mention back, like, what did you think with Ellie's reaction to this at the end? Like, she knows he's lying.
Do you
Like,
think she does though?
yes, I absolutely. And they again, the writers both said she knows.
Okay. I mean,
So
again, it goes
promise. She's
honestly.
like, promise me. Promise me what you said about the fireflies. She's in a gown. He's like, oh, there are raiders, and that's why I just had to get how he survives. He's the only one surviving with the raiders. She's gonna find out that all of these fireflies were absolutely murdered, but somehow those two got out and escaped. And so sorry, go ahead, Jose.
No,
You
just
didn't really talk about that.
you're right. I didn't. I
She
think
totally knows. Yeah, Nell, exactly.
Nell said
Thank
the
you.
same thing. She totally knows. I think it's here's the hard part. I think that deep down, even though we know the writers told us that it would have worked, again, as characters don't know that it would have worked. And so while that's probably going to come back to bite Joel, she has to also realize like this guy clearly loves me. He killed them all. Like that part, if she knows that he's lying, she also knowed that he went full John Wick on that hospital, right? And took them all out in probably a very stylistic way, which we know, of course, that he did. But that's honestly where, because again, I've not played any of the games. I'm excited to see what's going to happen in season
Yeah,
2.
exactly.
Like,
Now I'm thinking
because I've
about
not
you're
played
right.
this.
I'm
Yeah,
like, I gotta see.
I got to see how this plays out in terms of their
Yeah.
relationship, and like, does it get stronger because she's like, he's 100% got my back, like
No,
we're a
it
team,
can't.
or is it going to start chipping away, and like
No.
that's got
He
to play
lied
into
to
a whole
her,
power
Jose.
dynamic?
He broke the trust, the
Dude,
ultimate
parents lie
bond.
to their
He
kids all the
lied.
time. How many
Not
times did
like
you lie to your
this.
kids today?
Come on. Anyway. So overall closing thoughts here. So you're saying you're just kind of arguing that she doesn't know, but she
I mean,
does.
here's the issue though. So she knows. So what? She can't change the past. right? She can't go back to the hospital. Like she knows they're
He
all
took her
dead.
purpose.
He so yeah, I guess the question is now, does she have to find a new quest now? Right. So he took her quest from her. And so does she have to now find new purpose in life? And what is that?
And
Now I
Jose,
know
you're real close on the sequel. I'm just gonna say that. You are on the ball. You're saying stuff where I'm like, man, does he know?
no, I
A
don't
new
know.
quest.
But I know because of there was like the quote unquote spoiler in the scene with Riley, that episode. I already knew that thing was coming. And Nell just put in the chat. That's the hard part, right? She says, Nell said, can
No,
she
she's done. The
trust
trust
him
is gone.
if she
Trust is
finds
gone.
out what he did? And if she knows what he did, the trust has got to be disappeared.
And then it was all for nothing right now.
But
It
she has
was all for nothing
but she has nothing else,
because of
dude. She
Joel.
doesn't have other friends. She could theoretically get a significant other. See what I'm doing there? Right? But I don't know, man. It makes me excited for season 2. It makes me bummed that we have to wait. And they've said that they're going to make season 2 only the first
Longer.
half of the second
Yeah.
game.
And
So
which they should. They
they
could have
should.
done this
It's
one.
good. It's good they split it out. I would love, if I'm making requests, I would love a little bit more of the clickers. Like
And they did
they're
say that
so
Neil
unique. They're so cool. I want a little bit more
Neil
of that.
directly said we're gonna have more money to do more some of that stuff. So thank God. Because I mean that was one of the I would have to shout out to Colin in the sacred symbols. He's like, no wonder they call it The Last of Us. There's no clickers, like there's just no combat, there's no infected, you never see them. So
That's
they're
very
gonna,
funny.
they're
It's
gonna do more of
hilarious.
that. Um and then sorry, go ahead. What else? What other things? Oh, wait, I'll say I wouldn't mind if they actually don't dive out to other characters. Like it doesn't just have to be about Ellie, and Joel. Like I wouldn't mind. That's what I'm saying. Like take this global. What would happen in other parts of the world? Show like other stories. I would love for them to delve out to other short, smaller stories like the Bill and Frank stuff. So sorry, go ahead, Jose.
No, I agree with you. I mean, but here's the hard part though, because I mean, I loved the Bill and Frank story. Like literally, still get
Great.
tears and chills thinking about it. It was incredible. But I also don't know. I don't know if I want a ton of character stories because I
Yeah.
still want the main story, right? Like
There's got to be a point, like you said, some sort
because
of
even like
quest,
the Riley, I think
purpose.
Riley was a compelling character, and she obviously had a purpose that she needed to serve in this
Uh,
story.
uh,
But dude, I wouldn't want a whole 2-3 episodes on her,
Yeah,
right? I
or
don't
they
want
even
that.
that full episode, like, did that need to be that long? It coulda just shown Ellie getting bit, like, it did
Yeah.
you're right, that
I mean,
dragged on a little
do
I
I want a
forgot
full
about that.
episode on Tommy? Probably not. Do I want a full episode on Marlene? I mean, there's
I
just
mean,
not
not
that many.
anymore.
Touche. Shout out to Deja Vu in the chat. I know if you haven't watched the show, but make sure you go watch it before you listen to our thing. But welcome
Yeah,
back.
make
Great
sure
to see
you're
you.
done with the show, Deja Vu.
Yeah.
Bacon's back, he's gonna drop out here, he's
All right.
paying for that gig internet, he can't even stay on here for 5 minutes.
Give me 1 sec. I'll get him in here.
Yeah, Deja Vu. You're gonna Deja Vu. Have you seen it? Let's get Deja Vu involved here. Deja, have you watched the entire thing? What did you think of the ending? Had you played the games for? Had he played before?
No,
Bacon.
it is not.
Okay. Will he? Do you think he will now?
I think he'll buy it on PC this month, and he'll
Yeah,
probably
I
play
think
it.
you should. So, what did you think? Deja Vu. I argue that Joel is incredibly selfish, and it made me hate him when I played the game. I still hate him today. Hated him before I had kids. Hate him after having kids. It's not his real
Chan's
daughter.
also a hater,
He's
though, to be
incredibly
fair.
selfish, and he destroys mankind. Jose is, if it were my kid, I would be the same way as Joel. But Joel, in this situation with this girl he's known for a very short time, he probably would want to save mankind. Bacon is all about, nope, I would have done the same thing. Joel is completely right. Kill them all. I'm taking Ellie home with me, fake daughter. And then Nell, Bacon's wife, also said, if it was probably her kid, she would be the same. But logically, she would want to save humanity. Did you see that, Bacon? So Deja Vu just said he thought it was a good ending. Get add me a
Is
little add a
is
little bit
Joel
more
the
details.
enemy?
Yeah, is Joel the bad guy, Deja Vu, or do
The
you
Come on,
agree with
man.
villain,
him, or
not the
do you
enemy, the
disagree with him?
villain.
In the middle.
He
Okay.
and he is definitely the villain of this story. Are you kidding me? Who else is the villain? The preacher for one episode?
The
No.
preacher, the girl in KC,
The
the
virus.
freaking
The
clickers,
vi
the virus,
You don't
dude. There
even
are
see the
4 things
clickers.
ahead of
We
Joel
were talking
by
about that,
far, bud.
Bacon. You don't even see clickers in this. Deja Vu's in the middle. You could see the way. Yes, and that's kind of the point. A lot of people hate Joel for this. A lot of people completely agree with him. I did want to mention Askins. I'll have to clip this for you. Here's Mike's response as well. Also, somebody who did not ever play the game and just watched the show first. He said when I asked him, "What did you think of the ending of the show?" and he just said, "Lame."
Hmm.
That was his response, and he had been loving it the entire time, and then he also added this, "It was obvious he wasn't gonna let her die, so I don't think that that was disappointing, just not really a complex story. I could see how it would be a good video game, but the show doesn't stand up to some of the big shows HBO has. Entertaining, just not a wow kind of show." So he is arguing that is a step below, um of the other high tier excellent HBO
House of
shows.
Dragons. Yeah.
He says it's not like they didn't have a chance to ask Ellie just if it was her choice to sacrifice herself. Agree on the lack of infected. I think 5 years ago, the infected would have been a bigger part of shows, but people just want to see the sensitive side of stories now and not the violence. So overall, Mike didn't have much to say about it. He was just kind of content with it, but not blown away with
Did
it.
he play the game?
No, didn't
Okay.
play the game. He had so he was watching it just like a lot of other people were, new to the series and whatnot. So, Bacon, what are your closing thoughts overall? We've kind of been going over them. Where are you excited? Or are you disappointed that you have to wait so long to watch season two? What are some of the things you want to see improved on? Did you hear what Jose wanted? Jose said he wanted, what was it? A little bit more infected,
More
right, Jose?
clickers.
More clickers.
Yeah.
And what was it? Not so many small side stories, some sort of purpose, right?
Okay.
Well, like, I mean, that's part of our storytelling. They have to have a new person or purpose for season two. I said, maybe a relationship for Ellie. And shout out to Dijo. He said that he saw Joel as more just as a badass as opposed to evil. And he made a good point. He said they had to do something like this, otherwise there couldn't be a sequel, right? Like that, that would defeat the whole purpose if this didn't
Well,
happen. So shout out to that.
oh, Goose. Here's Goose. Boring game, boring show. Boo, boo earns. Shout out to
Mm,
Goose. Not a fan of
not a
The Last
fan,
of Us,
Goose.
clearly. Bacon, go ahead.
Um, I think with season two, and I know where it's going,
Don't
so
spoil it.
I think they could maybe emphasize
In
Joel's
between.
story from between
Yeah,
when the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
outbreak happened and him getting to Boston. Maybe put a little context into why Tommy doesn't particularly like him anymore with all the
Oh,
stuff they
that's a good
did,
point.
all the
Oh, they
stuff that
could show
right.
some more, get some more Joel in there building up to
Yes,
certain things. Yes.
that would
Bacon, I just had to quickly ask, did he say that he tried to kill himself in the game?
he
I don't
did.
remember. He does say
No,
that?
no, no, no. I don't think he did.
Okay, so they added that in the show.
I think so.
Okay, okay, because I couldn't
Um,
remember if that was in the game or not. I didn't think so.
yes, I do believe that's correct. So yeah, if they did, explore his because there's knowing what happens, I don't think there's any way they can get away with doing season two the way season two is supposed to be done.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people are
Right.
saying.
There's no way this can happen. It will not stand. It'll be season 8 of
Well,
Game
I
of
think they'll
Thrones all over again.
they'll delay to what we're referring
Right. So
to.
there'll be a bunch of filler because they already said it
Mhm.
won't encompass the entire second game. So maybe it ends with what we know is coming. And that's then season 3. I don't know. I'm trying to dance around this topic as best I
Yeah.
can.
Do you
I'm
think that they're
getting
going to release a Last of Us 3 by the time that we get to that in the show?
So, good question.
no.
I want to talk about this. Neil Druckmann just tweeted, I think it was today, Bacon. They're like, he just said, "We know what we're going to do next. It's what Naughty Dog has been most excited for." So, I don't know if that means it's going to be the third game. My guess with like Bacon just said, I don't think so because I don't think you could get a third game out in time
But if they've been
for
working on
these
it,
two
you're
seasons.
assuming that they're not working on it right
They've
now.
been working on factions, which who knows? Maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe this factions game Bacon isn't just multiplayer and it is just a full-on sequel with multiplayer, but they've been working on factions was supposed to come out with The Last of Us Part 2 back in 2020.
Yes.
So, who knows what this
Was it
game is?
2020 or 2019?
2020, The Last of Us
Was it?
Part 2 came out in June and during the pandemic because I remember that. So if this game is just a big multiplayer game with some story, I don't know, but I just I don't know. If they're just now starting their next project, there's no way they could get The Last of Us Part 3 out on
Yeah,
PS5,
yeah.
right, Bacon? I don't know. Maybe at the
Right.
end of this, maybe it'll be its
It'll be
swan
the
song at the
PS5
end.
Pro.
So
Yeah.
since they already explored Ellie in the DLC and the Left Behind DLC in the mall, the only person they can really explore is Joel, and Joel,
Yeah.
from the
That's a
outbreak to
good point.
getting to Boston. I think they will focus on that a lot. And then
Show his
that's just a
backstory.
lot. And then the writers can just do whatever they want because there's no there's no
It's
history there.
open-ended. Yeah.
Nothing's written. Yeah. So they can basically write till their heart's content. And I would love to
Yeah.
see what it is that Joel and Tommy did
And how he
prior.
gets to be like this. Like, that would
Right.
provide a lot of context how it just becomes
Yep. So
even like, he's a veteran. They could even show some of that and, like,
yeah.
how he's so good, so.
So I think they
Yep.
can. I think there's a lot they can do, and there's a
Yeah,
lot
that's a
of
good
places
point,
they can
Bacon,
go.
with Joel. That'd be
You know,
great,
you know what I
actually.
want? I want a mobile game that's a tower defense game, and your play is Bill. That's all I want. Like, just like waves of enemies trying to get into your
In his house,
compound.
just trying to get to
That'd be
his
dope,
compound.
bud. That'd
That's
be
awesome.
fun.
Shout out to Goose. He said it's gonna be canceled. That's where it's going. Just Goose really hating on The
Really,
Last
really
of Us. I
was
mean,
hating
I
on
million
it.
viewers.
hated
don't
the
think
ending,
so.
Goose, but I don't hate it that much. Bacon, I did want to say really quickly, I listened to the spoiler cast from your favorites over at Last Stand Media, and they were all kind of they liked the show, but also all really said that the game was better. They missed the clickers. They were all kind of in agreement with this. They felt like it was rushed too, felt like there should have been more Ellie and Joel time for sure. And your boy Colin was like, I'm not a parent, but how could you say no? You have to save humanity. Like, and he's on the humanity side too, Bacon. So I just wanted to share that with you because I know you
Well, it's just a
probably
slippery slope. We can kill one person, then where does it stop? We have to have humanity. Now, given Joel didn't show much
There's not-
humanity clear in that hospital, there was no humanity in Joel's heart. But again, like it's just a slippery slope. When is enough enough? How many people in the interest of science and trying to find a cure, when is enough enough? When do we draw the line in the sand that says we will not murder people in hopes of getting a cure? What
You had that
says her
chance.
life is not more important than other people's life? So that's why and I'm not even a parent, and I still would have saved Ellie just because I just walked across the United States with this young lady and listened to her puns the whole time.
Oh,
So
so I better save her
I
instead of saving mankind. Joel crossed that line.
but
I'm
again,
just gonna
you're
say that
right.
right
You're
there.
right with one thing that he did give her an out, and she did not take it. When they
Exactly.
were looking at the giraffes, which is exactly the way it was in the
Yeah,
game.
that
It's really
exact
good.
scene.
I love that part in that game. I was like,
And the ending, Jose,
wow.
like the whole ending exact from the game.
But
So,
he did. He gave her an out.
and she's
She
like, it
chose to
can't
walk her
Can't be for
all
path,
nothing.
be for nothing,
but she is
Bacon.
still a young, naive child. He
Speaking of
knew
that,
something was there.
speaking of that, Bacon, I'll bring that up. That's what Colin did say. He's like, does she have the
Right.
intellect
Right.
to make the decision even to sacrifice herself? What do you think about that, Jose? Do you think her being 14
Yes.
is she in a position to say, yes, I would like to sacrifice myself, or is she still
Yes.
just a child who cannot fathom that?
I think she grew up in this thing. She has seen what the world has become. She's seen how
Mhm.
dire it is. She I think it's very fair for her to say that she was very cognizant and made a willing choice. Now, granted, she didn't have a lot of life experiences that most of us had in our youth, right? Because the world has just gone to crap. But like, I don't think that precludes her from being able to say that she could do what she wanted to do, which some people think is the right thing. Some people don't. Um, I don't. I think she was more than capable of doing that for sure.
I think she was under the impression she was going in for some blood work and some evaluations. I don't think she was going in for a lobotomy. So let's
True.
be honest here,
That's
guys.
fair. They could have
But
lied to her too. Yeah.
Because
give
they
her
told her
the
they were just going to run tests on her all the way back in Boston. That was what she
give
was
her
told.
the option,
Give her the option.
truth.
I will 100% agree with
And
that.
then if it changes and then she's like, no, I don't want to do this, and then the fireflies are like, well, F you, and they drug her and they put her out. Well, then yes, that kind of changes the context, but it's
You imagine
specifically gray, and we don't know.
how gut wrenching that scene would have been if they would have shot that in the show that she's Ellie, here's your choice. And she says yes. And Joel's just freaking out. I mean, they could have really
Yeah,
done some hot stuff with that scene, but it is what it is.
it is.
I don't
Guys,
think she knew. So
disagree. Guys, I just want to say thank you for joining me on this. I've always wanted to talk about this ending in detail, and it's cool to have a lot more people experience it thanks to the television show. Controversial then back in 2013, still is today. It's still divided. and everyone seemed to enjoy the series except for Goose out there. So shout out to our chat. Thank you for everyone
Thanks,
joining
everyone.
in tonight. Guys, any closing thoughts on the show and future things we should do spoiler casts for? Go
I
ahead,
mean, this
Jose.
is always fun to get together. I definitely think that makes me excited for more shows about games, right? I know that Dan's not a big
Halo.
into
Oh
God of
no.
War. I'm excited for season 2, but I'm excited for the God of War game.
Fallout, the
I'm
Fallout
Fallout
one.
show. I'm excited for
Potential.
Horizon in
Horizon
there.
show. Now I really want a Dead Space show. John Carpenter, make it happen, bud. Please, 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 please make that happen.
Oh,
Bacon.
Bacon, closing to you. Do you want to play The Last of Us Part 2 sooner, or would you rather wait and prep for season 2?
I'll probably just find a time in a lull
Yeah, I
to get
agree.
it done. I'll probably finish Dead Space tonight because I'm already in Act 8, Dead Space 2 already. So
It's long. Dead
is
Space
it
2 is
lo-
long, isn't
I
it,
thought it'd
Jose?
be
Isn't it
12
longer
like
than the
it's
first
pretty,
one.
yeah,
Okay,
it
is
is.
it? So I'll probably jump in at
Fallout
sale.
goes,
I'll just get it digitally again since I had it on disc and traded it in. I hope we get a Mass Effect TV show.
I
That
know.
would
That's what I was telling
be
Askins. I was like, Askins, if there's
so
any
much
show
lore.
for a video game that would be perfect as well,
That could be like
it is
50
Mass
seasons.
Effect.
It could be huge.
Mass Effect could be
Yeah.
huge. You could have the first contact, like building up to oh my gosh. Can you
Oh.
imagine the Reapers, you guys? Oh my.
My goodness.
Anyway, guys,
Unlimited.
I was Bacon planning on maybe trying to get to Last of Us Part 2, but I'm getting an itch to play Skyrim, guys. I don't know what's going on in my mind, but I think I'm
You should
gonna
play
play
Last of Us.
Skyrim after Call of Duty.
You
So,
should play Last of Us too.
guys, this has been The Last of Us on HBO TV and slash PS3, PS4, PS5, PC, Spoilercast. You heard it here first. I am a Joel is a selfish guy. Jose is somewhere in the middle, and Bacon is Joel is the best dad ever for saving his fake daughter. My name is Daddy Diwali. You can follow me at Daddy Diwali across all social media. You can follow the show at the Nerd Chat on all social media. Thank you so much for those tuning in for some of these new subscribers. We are going to have our normal show on Thursday night as well, talking all things Xbox and not PlayStation IPs. Chipotle Bear, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Chipotle_Bear, Instagram, Chipotle Bear, and hopefully soon back again, Twitch, Chipotle Bear. But for right now, having a great time YouTube Live with these two guys. We'll see you guys on Thursday.
And Bacon, where can people find you?
I would like to apologize to everyone for Comcast woes this evening. My wife will be sending a strongly
Angry
worded
phone
letter. Yes, strongly worded letter. You can catch me on everywhere at X Bacon Gaming, hanging out on Twitter usually. Thank you for taking time to watch. If you haven't played the game, go play the game. Get a PS4, get a PS3, a PS something, and play the game. It is a great game. Does not play great. Really sloppy, really loose, but go play the game. Thanks for tuning in.
Or you could watch the show or watch
That's
the
fair.
cutscenes on
That's
YouTube.
fair.
You'll get just as a good experience there. As always, Fireflies, see you online.
See you online.
See you online.
Team Joel, see you online.
It's okay, baby girl. I got you. Fake daughter. I got you. The Nerd Chat, an Xbox podcast, is a podcast celebrating all things gaming, food, and the good old days. The show was created by Daniel Walenzik, and you can follow him at Daddy Diwali across all social media. The assistant to the co-host is Jose Martinez, and you can follow him at Chipotle_Bear. The assistant to the co-host is Chance Siegel, and you can follow him at BubbleBoyN7. The intern to the assistant to the co-hosts is Jason Jarrett, and you can follow him at XBaconGaming. You can also follow the show at The Nerd Chat across all social media. And if you'd like to find out more about the show, visit nerdchatmedia.com.